And hello, all my fellow nerds out there. This is Oracle Nerd Richie, and welcome back once again to Remembering Emily. We're finally gonna be continuing this game and hopefully finishing it, because I don't know how many chapters there are. But we're right here, chapter 5, Jealousy. I confess that when I woke up that day, I didn't expect it to be the day my whole life would change. It was a weekend, and fortunately, I didn't have to work. Hmm. It it had been several days in which I had been a bit distant, even with Emily. We had the final deadline of a project at work, and during all the time, I had only separated from my laptop to get something to eat. But that day, at least, I could chill for a while. So I thought as I was leaving my bedroom. Morning, Thomas. Hey, Emily. Did you manage to finish last night what you were working on? I heard you went to bed very late. Yeah, luckily. I had a little left, so I was working up until quite late last night. But at least I am now free. Now you have the week off, right? Yeah, kind of. I worked overtime a lot, so I have some free days now. I have 7 days accumulated to rest and relax. Have you thought of something to celebrate? Well, I was planning to chill at home today. I'll play something and I'll give William and Kate a call to see if they feel like going out to have dinner. Will they come home? I don't think so. William had talked about a new Indian restaurant that opened downtown. But does William know you don't like Indian food? He made me promise to give it a chance. Not that I'm looking forward to it. Bring me some when you get back. Now I'm in the mood for Indian food. Yeah, sure. Bring you some. I'll bring you something with tikka masala or some samosa. I have no idea what any of those are. Are they any good? Like if they are, I'll probably try them. That's the only thing you know about Indian food, don't isn't it? You saw right through me. We both started laughing. The lighthearted moments with Emily could often be the highlight of the day. They tended to be quite short, though. Look, I'm going to bring a bottle of Fenny. I'm going to bring back a bottle of Fenny. I do understand about that. Fenny? What's that? A quite famous liquor in India. Well, there's no need, Thomas. With some vegetarian samosas, I'll be more than happy. I don't understand. Don't you want to try it? It's not that I don't want to. I just, it's just that I can't. Is something wrong? Are you taking any pills? No, it's not that. Since we've been living together, our relationship has become cold, distant. We have a difficult relationship, gotta say. I know, but I thought after what happened that night, we'd managed to connect in a deeper way. We had already talked about this, Emily. It was a mistake. I was precisely at my best, and you may have pushed me harder than you should have, especially because of the state I was in. I know, Thomas, but things have changed since that day. What has changed? What happened 2 months ago? I haven't been feeling quite right lately, and I ordered something on the internet. You knew they couldn't see you. You knew they couldn't see you, Emily. You, you're endangering us all. I took safety measures. They left the parcel at the door, and I did not open the door until the courier left. What did you order? You could have asked me to buy it for you. It was this, Thomas. At the moment, I was shocked. It was a pregnancy test? I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Emily, what is this? It's a pregnancy test. Why would you ask what is it if you knew what it was? But then again, he's probably telling if it's like no one talking and it's him talking, then it's like He's like recounting the tale of what happened. I'm pregnant, and you're the father. I had to sit down immediately. Even today, I don't know if I got all over all that. But before that night, Thomas, since had disappeared almost a year ago, I had not been with anyone. Emily, I need to think. Of course. I quickly went to my bedroom. I never felt this way before. Trapped by a decision I don't even remember making. From someone I wanted to forget months ago. Calmer though, though with trembling hands, I texted Kate. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to tell her, nor if I really wanted to tell her, so I simply texted her. Hello. I left myself on my bed, but a few minutes later I got a text from Kate. Hello, Thomas. Is there something wrong? I just wanted to talk to you. Okay. Today something happened to me and I wanted to talk to a friend. Has something happened with Emily? Are you okay? I'm fine, yes. It's just I've just found out something that I like for it to be a dream. Is Seth back? No. Can we meet up? I just feel like meeting up with you right now. Of course. Shall we meet at the arcade? It's a good middle ground between my apartment and yours. Perfect. I'm on my way. I took off my pajamas and put on the first thing I saw in the closet. I hurried out of the bedroom and ready to walk out the door without a second thought. But as soon as I opened the door to my room, there was Emily. Thomas, are you okay? I just need to clear my head. Of all things I expected to hear today, this was not one of them. I didn't expect it either, Thomas. At that moment, I lost my temper and raising my voice louder than normal, telling Emily that everything I was feeling at that moment. Emily, I was drunk. You pushed me and you didn't even take any precautions? I was in no condition. I don't even remember anything beyond saying no to you several times. Do you think you're the only one who feels like that? Said this somewhere and I don't know what to do. I'm not even in my apartment. Every day that goes by I feel like a burden to you. And to your friends. At the moment my cell phone rang. Kate was calling me. All I could see it. At this point, she also began to raise her voice. It's because of Kate, isn't it? What are you talking about? If it weren't for Kate, it might have even been good news. I thought there was something between us. At that moment, Emily grabbed my cell out of my hand. She quickly saw my conversation with Kate. Is the news so horrible that you wished it was just a dream? Emily, please. You're going with her now, aren't you? Bye, Emily. I quickly snatched the cell phone from her hands and slammed the apartment door. I closed the door with no intention of opening it again. What was I supposed to do? I was completely overwhelmed by the situation. I arrived at the arcade. Kate was on one of the benches in the food court. Her face, when she saw me, changed from a slight smile to concern. What happened, Thomas? You don't look well. I didn't know who to talk to, Kate. The situation with Emily. I don't know what to do. Since you started living with her, I confess that I've been avoiding you. I guess you could have used a little support. No, Kate, you're not to blame for anything. It's just that something's happened. You just say it. Just tell her. Oh my fucking god. You said something before we were texting. What happened? Emily is pregnant. Even though we were in a room full of noise and music, at that moment, I noticed a silence that flooded the entire room. Kate's face was completely blank. Her eyes were trying to read me, but I didn't know what she was looking for. But has Emily been seeing anyone? No. According to her, in the last few months, she was only with me in that one night. Kate made a move as if she wanted to leave, but quickly stopped. What do you want me to do, Thomas? Why did you want to see me? To give me the wonderful news? To tell me that you were going to be parents? Kate, you know what happened that night. I just know that you've been with her all this time. The girl for whom, on top of everything, you had very deep feelings for. A girl who right now may be desolate in your living room. Sorry, I shouldn't have called you. A few seconds passed, longest seconds of my entire life. But then a calmer Kate took over the conversation. Jesus, my back is killing me. You know this has been very hard for me to hear. But I get that for you it has not been any easier. Should I go somewhere quieter? When you told me you wanted to talk, I thought you may want a more relaxing setting. I didn't expect for you to tell me something like that. Of course. Along the way, neither of us uttered a word. Although the tension in the atmosphere was no longer so high, that short walk to the cafeteria helped us put our thoughts in order. Hmm. What are you going to do, Thomas? I don't know. Thomas, Emily is not to blame. I wasn't myself. I could have stopped or taken some precaution. And not to find ourselves in this situation. You don't know what really happened that night. You don't remember it well. And Emily has always said that it was a sweet moment between the two of you. I'm avoiding my share of responsibility in all this, aren't I? I'm not judging you, Thomas. I just know that as much as Emily isn't exactly my best friend, now maybe the best place for you to be is next to her. Those last words were virtually unheard. As Kate told me about Emily, I could see that she was breaking more and more inside, trying to put her slav, oh my god, herself in my shoes, and even in Emily's. Sorry again, Kate. We we will have time to talk. Have you made up your mind about what you're going to do? Yes. I have to go back. It's just one thing. What is it, Kate? I want you to know that as hard as it is for me to say, I'll always be by your side. I know, Kate. Everything I've told you about my feelings for Emily and for you, it has not changed at all. Even if it means complicating things even more. It would be great if we could just change our feelings with a click, wouldn't it? As if we were in a video game. Kate's face showed a slight smile, even understanding. It's a pity that life has no checkpoints, that there's no respawn point or to change our actions and decisions. I have to go, Kate. I know. Every step I took towards the apartment became more difficult. Although I had managed to put my emotions in order, what should I do? It was in, I was in front of my apartment door. I knew that responsibility for everything had happened was Emily's, but it was also mine. Not only that, I blamed someone who was going through the worst time of her life. Someone whose main flaw was to fall in love with me. Besides, she had tried to suppress her love for me, even though she knew it was mutual, because of fear of what might entail. I reached in my pockets to get my keys. I decided I knew what was waiting for me behind that door. And without warning, a dry sound was heard upstairs. Emily's apartment. I always carried keys for both apartments with me just in case, so I quickly went upstairs. Once upstairs, I checked my cell phone. That's a pretty cool background picture. There was no notification from the camera app. If someone had come in, we would have known. Emily hadn't called me either. I didn't want to worry her more than necessary, even more so in that state. I went to her apartment and kept hearing the same noise. Checked everywhere, but did not find anything. The noise was muffled, as if I were in a completely empty cathedral. At least there was no sign of Seth. a problem less. Finally, I had the sensation of hearing a faint dripping sound coming from the kitchen. I put it down and finally there was a problem. The plumbing breakdown that welcomed me to my apartment had refused to be fixed. The moment when I was getting up under the carpet that connects to the dining area, I heard a strange rustling sound ring out. Is something wrong, Thomas? What happened then? From here on, my memories. We're approaching the moment in your life to change completely. Is this normal? Just try to make one last effort. What did you do in that moment? I didn't pay too much attention to it. You gotta check what's under the carpet! The suspense would be killing me at this point. Yeah, check out what's under the carpet. The apartments in that building were very similar. I was surprised that under the carpet there was a loose wooden tile. I can't remember the carpet as it was stepped on by some furniture. When I looked at the wooden tile, I couldn't believe my eyes. Inside a box, Emily's gun. After all, she had never told me that she would get rid of it. But in the box was much more. A passport in the name of a certain Emma. Different photos of me, which I didn't remember having taken. As if she had been following me in the previous city. And several notes where you could see the list of games and places I used to go. In addition, two small empty jars. At that moment, I didn't know what to think. Could I be misunderstanding everything? What was all that about? Who was Emily? I had to find out immediately. So I went determinedly into my apartment to talk to Emily. Secrets. What was Emily hiding? I closed the door to Emily's apartment. The hallway remained quiet. As if nothing had happened, but then I started hearing a loud banging downstairs. As if someone was knocking on the door with his fist with all his might. Before we had even made it downstairs, I began to hear a male voice shouting at the top of his lungs. Emma? I know you're here. I hurried down the stairs. As soon as I got to the hallway of my apartment, I saw him. Okay, hold up. This motherfucker is Seth? This mofo is Seth. I was expecting him to look, a little more scrawny, but yeah, you know what? Maybe it's my undernight in-birth brain going off, but like, I expected this Seth to be a bit more scrawny, but nope. Apparently this guy's jock type. He's a jock. Okay. Someone I would surely try to avoid on the street. Tall and strong. What's he doing in my house? Or apartment? Who was Emma? It could be... Hey, what are you doing here? He gave me a nasty look, as if all that was not with me. Who are you? I'm looking for Emma. This is my house, and no Emma lives here. His expression began to change radically, as if his fury did not fit inside him. What do you mean there is no Emma here? I saw her through the window a few minutes ago. Are you in cahoots with her? Are you protecting her? I'm not in cahoots with anyone, and I don't know who this Emma is either. At that moment, anger took over me, and in a direct way I asked him. Besides, the one who should be asking the questions is me. This is my apartment. Who are you? Who am I? Why do you care? At that moment I knew. Seth had found Emily. So that's how you met Seth? Yes. You were always very, very vague in telling me what happened that day. Now, everything starts making sense. Honestly, with the way the whole story has been going, it has not been making a single lick of sense. Not even a little bit. My memories here are blurry. That's why it's so hard for me to try to tell what happened. Why was Seth yelling Emma? Up until now, I had not been able to understand that. Who was Emma? Why was he shouting that name to call Emily? It was clear that Emily's identity was added to the mystery surrounding her. Uh, dude, it's not that hard to figure out. Emily is her cover name. Her real name is Emma. It's not that hard to understand. Come on, man. When I saw what was under her wooden tile in the kitchen, there was a passport with that name. Was Emily's true identity Emma? Yes! Why had she lied to me all that time? Who was Emily really? Or Emma? Could it have been a way to protect herself from Seth? The name of the passport is Emma, not Emily. If the passport was real, I had not seen one with the name Emily. The most logical thing is that her real identity was Emma and that introduced herself with a fake one. What reason could she have been for doing that? You met in a cafe by chance. I'm starting to think that maybe it wasn't such a coincidence. That she didn't want him to be able to know who she really was. In any case, no matter how it was, Emily's cover had been blown. Yes. I realized who she really was. For him. Oh, he actually is referring to him. Okay. Seth. I knew everything would be over that day. One way or another. Before we move on to what happened with Seth, I would like to talk a bit further about some things. No, I don't think we should be. I don't think we should be glazing over this one specific detail. Of course, we woke up that day and started talking to Emily. It was when it was when she told you all that she was pregnant. Yes. Why did you react that way? You were really aggressive. I felt completely overwhelmed by the situation. We were talking in a relaxed way, and all of a sudden she told me that. But it wasn't Emily's fault. I didn't see it that way at the time. I have no memory of the night I spent with Emily. I remember being very reluctant to want to be intimate with her. I know she pushed me to make it happen. But you don't remember what happened next. So after talking to Kate, I reflected on the whole thing. I didn't know what exactly happened, but I knew that Emily and I had to be together for all of it. You were under a lot of pressure. Actually, it took you a very little time to react as you should have. I guess. But it wasn't worth much either. Emily was happy? With pregnancy? Yes. I never knew. Of course, when she told me, she had some emotions in her words. She had some emotion in her words. But I could never know if she had wanted to have that baby. You told me before you told me this that your relationship with Kate was weakened. That she barely answered your messages. Why did you text Kate at the time? Because she was the first person I thought of. Many times I have doubts about what to do or who to trust. About what to say or who to say it to. When I found out that Emily was pregnant, I knew exactly who I wanted to support from, who I wanted by my side. It may have been the only thing I did decisively that day. I have no doubt about that. And Kate was there. Yes. Although the relationship was weakened by everything that happened with Emily, Kate was there. And I understood her. If I had been in a situation, I don't know if I would have been so understanding. How did Kate take it all? Pretty bad. Incredibly bad. But she was extremely kind. Kate understood all that. I told her how it went that night with Emily. And that while I may have been partly to blame, in the end, Emily was the one who wanted to force the situation. It is not an easy thing to rationalize. Indeed. It's clear that Kate loved you. Even if it meant sharing you or even losing you. She has always shown it. Back to Emily. When did you think she became suspicious of all that? We spent the night that night. Since I didn't remember anything, I didn't know if we had used protection. I didn't know if Emily took anything for that. I admit that it didn't cross my mind up until she confessed all of that. Emily should have known better. Of course. Dude, there's gotta be like a simpler way to tell this whole story, man. Come on. I never had the chance to ask her. Nor was there much time. But if she really knew about all that, why didn't she do something the next day? With an emergency contraceptive? Yes. It would have been the most logical thing to do. But if she had purchased the pregnancy test online, why not that? Thomas, many people have passed through here wanting to forget their past, and I assure you it is not as easy as you make it out to be. 1,000 things could have crossed her mind. Believing that it was no big deal, or even wishing for her subconscious that it would happen. I hadn't thought of it that way. Dude, you hadn't thought of it that way? Dude, you don't think. If there is something in the human being that is hard to understand, it is the brain. And it is in these circumstances that we understand it the least. Before going on with what you were telling me, the moment you met Seth for the first time, I wanted to ask you a question, Thomas. Why did you have Emily's house keys with you? Actually, that wasn't Emily's idea. It was mine. Emily didn't know you had a copy of her house key with you? No. When I brought Emily's things down to my apartment, she gave me her key. But once we finished all that, she asked me to give it back to her. Before giving them back, I made a copy. Why did you do that, Thomas? I knew Emily didn't want me to do that, but I thought it was really important. Why? I was risking a lot for her, and it was important that if Seth showed up, I could be prepared. But when I went upstairs and saw what was under the tile, not only the passport, I didn't know how to react. I didn't notice you saying anything special to me, Thomas. Emily had, in addition to the gun and the passport with the name of Emma, much more. Notes of places I used to visit that could very well be the sites that you had recommended her, couldn't it? Well, it's true that I think that we had talked about all that, but what about the photos? There were pictures of me that I didn't know she'd taken. I began to think the worst. Maybe there was an explanation for everything. That you had exaggerated the situation that was not that big of a deal? After all, Emily was in love with you. And she worked as a photographer. She could have been preparing for a surprise for you. Or even something that you had agreed upon that you didn't remember. Remember that you were here. Many of those memories are fuzzy. Memories you don't have sorted out. It could be. So at this point, I need you to tell me what happened that day. What triggered everything you're here for? The real reason I'm helping you. How did you kill Seth? I'm sorry. Okay. Hold up a fucking second. This whole story started with Noah asking me how Emily died. And now you're asking me how I killed Seth? The fuck are you on? Oh my god, dude. This game is hurting my head, dude. Honestly, I don't even know if I can finish this, but I'm gonna leave this video here for now. So, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Be sure to leave a like, comment what you think, share this video with your friends, and be sure to subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss a single notification. I'll see all of you in the next video. Goodbye. With